Okay, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Seymour Police Department. My name is Paul Sadakowski, and I'm the Chief of Police here at the Police Department. Also with me this morning is Deputy Chief Roberto Rinaldi, Commander David Peratt, and Inspector Joseph Matasovich, and members of the Taborra family. The purpose of this press conference this morning is to obviously seek the public's assistance and the media's assistance in locating the vehicle and operator who is responsible for a fatal hit-and-run accident that occurred last Friday evening here in the town of Seymour. I'll just do a quick recap of what happened that night. So last Friday evening, approximately 6 o'clock, family members, friends, co-workers were attending a service at a local funeral home. As people left that service, they were going to their cars. Some people park across the street at a local shopping center when for overflow parking. There was a police officer on duty that was assigned to that task to assist the people cross. At one point, people were looking to cross the street. The officer stopped traffic both ways, westbound, and nothing was coming eastbound. As the officer began to cross the two individuals, a male and a female, he observed a car approaching eastbound at a high rate of speed. He made several attempts to stop that vehicle, and the operator of that vehicle failed to do so. To the point, as it got closer and closer to the officer himself had to literally jump out of the way from being struck. He had then turned his attention to see where the pedestrians were at that time, and unfortunately the vehicle continued straight past the officer and struck the two pedestrians that were crossing the street. At that time, 81-year-old James Taborra and his wife Barbara were both struck by the vehicle. The vehicle stopped momentarily and then took off at a high rate of speed eastbound towards the center of town here on 67. James Taborra, 81, from Shelton, he eventually succumbed to his injuries at Waterbury Hospital that night. And Barbara Taborra is listed in critical condition as we speak and literally fighting for her life minute by minute. I'm going to now turn it over to my commander, David Peratt. He is our accident reconstructionist who is working on this day by day, and he's going to give you an update of the type of vehicle we're looking for and bits and pieces of that accident. We'll give you what we can, and then Inspector Matasovich will say a few words on some things that our Detective Bureau is assisting and working on, and then we're going to ask the Taborra family to step forward, and they want to make a few comments in seeking the public and media's assistance. So without further ado, Commander Peratt, if you'd like to give them an update on what you're doing.
Good morning. The vehicle we believe is responsible for this incident based on some physical evidence and witness statements taken the night of the crash. Is believed to be a 2014 to 2016 Acura MDX, dark in color. It may not have significant damage to it, may have only minor damage. It's hard to tell at this point, but it definitely includes a headlight assembly damage. We're asking anyone who was in the area who may have witnessed the crash itself or the vehicle's erratic operation prior to the crash or after the crash, please contact us, no matter how insignificant or trivial they believe the information may be. We want as much as we can get. We'll ferret it out, and we just need all the help we can get. We want to find the person responsible for this and bring them to justice. You can contact the Seymour Police Department's main line or myself at 203-881-7610. Again, we just ask that anybody who has any information, whether from that night or even moving forward, suspect maybe a neighbor or friend or family member or whatever may be involved, to please contact us. Thank you.
Just want to add and capitalize on Commander Pratt's statement. The Detective Bureau has all resources on deck. I want to thank all our area towns that have been instrumental in offering the resources for us. We will have a full court press on this, and we will continue to gather more and more information. Again, to add to Commander Pratt, if people want to remain anonymous, do not think for 1 second whatever little information someone may have, we would like to gather that. We would like to talk to you, or you can remain anonymous. The email address you could get a contact with us is spddetectives, plural, at seymourct.org. Okay? Thank you very much.
Just so you're aware, we have a picture of this is not the actual vehicle involved, but a simulation of a type of vehicle we are looking for, 2014 to 2016 Acura MDX. We're pretty confident that is the type of vehicle based on evidence that was left at the scene that night that the state police and Commander Peratt were able to gather and get that information. So at this time, I want to offer my condolences to the Taborra family on the loss of their father, grandfather, and family member. And we keep our thoughts and prayers for Barbara. But right now I'm going to turn it over to son Ken Taborra to speak and ask for the public's assistance.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for helping us with this. We desperately need the public and the media's help. As you know, my mom and dad were victims of a horrific tragedy, of a hit and run, and my dad did not survive. My mom's fighting for her life in the ICU. These are my parents, Jim and Barbara, are my parents, my sister Linda and my brother Stephen. And they weren't just mom and dad, but their grandparents and their great-grandparents. They're good local Connecticut people. They grew up in the area. They lived in the area their whole lives. My father was an Air Force vet. My mother was active in the church. They were active in the communities. They helped with charities. They were committed members of our family. They hosted holidays. They looked forward to it. I found my mother's list for what she was going to make for Christmas dinner for the family, and she looked forward to the family coming over. This is a senseless tragedy, and we ask the public, please, if anybody saw anything, if you saw the vehicle, if you saw anything, you think you saw anything, please come forward. If you know somebody who drives this vehicle and they're not driving the vehicle anymore, please come forward. If anybody or you know anybody works in an auto body facility, auto parts, anything related to auto repair, please call the Seymour Police. Please, we'd like to find the person that did this. And if you're the person that did this, please come forward. Please give our family closure to this tragedy. I thank everybody for your help. The media, I thank you so much. The Seymour Police Department, they've been wonderful in communicating with us, and I know that they're doing their best. And now we need the public to please help. Please help us. Anything, Linda? No?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
So on the heels of that, again, we're reaching out to any auto repair places, body shop technicians, mechanics. Even if you do the work on the side, you might be approached by someone looking to fix their vehicle. I ask that you put yourself in this family situation and everything that they are going through and continue to go through and will go through. And, we're just looking for the right thing to be done. As Ken said, turn yourself in. We're going to do everything we can to find and hold the people responsible for as Ken said, this senseless act. And, we're looking to bring justice and closure to the family. So with that, we'll take any questions that the media might have, that maybe, if this is your first time covering this story or whatever. So
Chief, any
we'll open that up.
indication that this vehicle jumped on Route 8 north or south?
We believe so. I mean, we have it coming down 67 to a certain point, and then, yeah, that is possible, that they went north or southbound on Route 8, or stayed on local streets and, headed, Woodbridge, New Haven, Ansonia Way. If they're familiar with the area, they would know how to get around. So, travel for the vehicle could be anywhere at this point. But we know it did come down 67, correct?
Correct. We're still investigating that and reviewing video from the Route 67 corridor and elsewhere.
I know that an officer was also involved in this. He was directing traffic, almost got hit. Would you say that this is more or less a busy intersection, something that, I guess, a place where a lot of accidents happen?
Well, the 67 corridor is a busy area, especially during those times of say 4 to 6:30. This happened right around 6 o'clock on a Friday evening. Take into consideration holiday traffic and people going out holiday shopping and going out for dinner. So it is a busy area. Many of us work that same detail many times. Fortunately, without any incident of this type. I mean, there's been minor accidents, people inattentive and rear enders or something like that, but even those are few and far in between. But this is just unfathomable about what happened, and unspeakable that the person momentarily stopped and then took off at a high rate of speed. So that tells us that person is well aware of if he hit something, and then trying to avoid being accountable for their actions. So,
Chief, was the crossing done at a traffic light, or was it done away from a traffic light?
So it's kind of in between. There is a traffic light at. So the incident happened right in front of the Clearness Village Shopping Plaza. There is a traffic light there that stops traffic on 67 and lets vehicle traffic out of the plaza. But, when the officer's there, the officer stopped the traffic. Traffic was stopped westbound. When he looked, there was nothing eastbound, and then the car came basically out of nowhere at a high rate of speed. When the officer observed that, he attempted many times to stop that vehicle, and to the point where he almost got hit, as I said earlier. And then,
So where Mr. and Mrs. Taborra were crossing, was that at the light? Or was it up? Was it west or east of the light?
it was before the light. So,
West heading toward Oxford?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I just had a follow-up question for Ken or for the family. I know that this is obviously a difficult time, so I want to talk about condolences again, but when we talk about just the emotions that you guys are feeling right now, how are you doing, and what's been going through your mind throughout all this? And if you wouldn't mind just stepping to the mic.
Our main concern and where we spend most of our time is with our mother. She hasn't woken up. Fortunately, I got to speak to her for a few minutes in the trauma room before she went under. But the bulk of our time is concentrating on our mother and trying to keep up with our extended family. As I said, there's children, there's grandchildren, there's great-grandchildren, and my brother and my sister are here, and they have been an absolute amazing strength for me. I don't know how I could do this. You guys want to?
I guess just the most surprising thing for us is my sister and I live in Georgia, so Ken's up here close to mom and dad, and they're 81 years old, self-sufficient, no issues. They drive, they just retired 2-3 years ago, they're active, they're busy. They're busier than most adults. Not a thought, not a concern, zero thought in my mind that this day would ever happen. And then for people that who work, who serve, I mean, grandkids, man, just really good people, really nice people who grew up in the area, know the area, love the area, and would never leave the area. For this to happen just out of the blue, it's just like, oh, it's unbelievable. For me and my sister, it doesn't change our day-to-day because we didn't see him on a day-to-day basis. We talk to him often. And just to, I haven't seen my dad yet. I haven't seen my dad in 2 years,
COVID made that difficult.
COVID was tough, and it happens, and, we're not upset about COVID for that, but, 2 years we hadn't seen him. This is not the conditions. You want to come back and see him. So at least be able to see my mom and spend some time with my mom, even though she's unconscious. It was completely unavoidable. It was completely avoidable. And that's the part that really got us. It wasn't sick. Didn't have to happen. It was careless. It was unexcusable that something like this happened, that just two people so positive, just really kind people, to lose it. That's the most shocking thing for us. It's, not that you lose someone that's sick, you have time to prepare, but healthy one day, gone the next day. That's probably just the most shocking and surprising for us. So.
Sir, what is your name?
I'm Steve Taborra, son.
Ma'am, would you like to say anything?
It's up to you.
Your brothers will stand with you.
I know. They were just extremely kind, loving people. And I'm sorry, it's very tragic and sad. I think my brothers covered it.
What is your name, ma'am?
My name is Linda Pisacreta.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Sure. Pisakreta.
Thank you.
But thank you for your help. And
Thank you for helping.
Thank
out.
you
I
for
appreciate
coming
the
out.
Media. It's you guys are going to make it happen. It's your help, it's your efforts that's going to get the word out to the public. You guys, your websites, social media posts, you guys are the link to make it happen. And then we just need the public, please help us.
I have a lovely picture of them. If you'd like to publish it with the story, so people can relate to their kind faces and maybe make a connection. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I believe this concludes our press conference here this morning. And again, I thank you for being here, the media, helping us and assisting us in getting this message out to help us find the person responsible for the senseless act.